So it doesn't matter what level you are at, there is a step or a stage of parkour that you can do and can accomplish. And it's truly amazing feeling deep down to yourself, knowing that, wow, I did this, I could do this. You know what I mean?
So welcome to the Sina Good Health podcast. I'm with Jake Neu today. He's a friend of mine that does parkour. So Jake, you want to start off with like how you got into parkour?
Yeah, absolutely. So I got into it mainly because of my love for movies, action movies. And I, as a kid growing up, I want to be just like those guys, running around, jumping off rooftops and stuff like that. Then growing up a little bit, I had started playing the Assassin's Creed games, and that was more of the parkour free running style and the climbing the buildings, the jumping and the rolls and stuff like that. So I kind of fell in love with that as well. And when I started to do it, I started finding more videos on YouTube about parkour and kind of found the label with the actions kind of thing. And so I just started following people on YouTube and not on Instagram yet, but on YouTube about all the parkour and stuff. And so that's pretty much how I got started into it.
So
I just kept going with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're starting to learn, there's a lot of different components to parkour. Like there's different, like first how to fall, but then like there's vaults and climbs and rolls. And so where do you start with that?
With that, you literally start from the basic. You start running. Start with like small ledges. Just it's another part about challenging yourself on what you can do and what you can overcome. So like if let's say you look at a ledge and you're like, well, I think that's too high. I don't think I can jump up there, run up the wall or anything like that. Well, you never know until you start trying. So just kind of start by going out there in the world and finding places, things to climb on. And then you kind of gradually try and do it, to a perfection state to where like it looks super clean. You yourself are happy with the outcome of it. Just as jumping up onto a little ledge or climbing onto it, jumping off of it, just anything like that, really just getting into it. You just want to start out small. Obviously don't go for double backflips off of a ledge,
Yeah.
But yeah.
So can you talk more about like you talked about finding stuff in the world. So how do you develop that? Like I actually just recently got to play my first Assassin's Creed game, which is Black Flag, and
my favorite.
Yeah. So some of the people talked about developing like parkour vision. Like how do you recognize what would be good to train on?
So a couple things, just my personal, like me going up to like a ledge or something. First, I always check to see if it's safe or not. You never want to like just go into something completely blind because you will get hurt. It's just a fact, you will. So one thing I check is it's safe, if it can support my weight or my, like if I'm going to step on it, can it support it? And then, or if it's slippery or not. You gotta take in factors of what you're wearing, like your shoes, the grip on them, the surface of the wall or ledge or anything like that. So just kind of picking up that kind of stuff and understanding the safety of it that way helps you with the parkour vision of what you can do off of that ledge or on that ledge, if that makes any sense. So let's say I'm looking at a ledge, just a nice 2-foot high ledge, what can I personally do off that? And once you do, like, let's say you're starting out completely beginner, right? So you want to just run up it, jump on top with 2 feet and then jump off, right? So you just kind of play it in your head. Can I physically do this? If not, what can I take the steps to accomplish it? And then, is it safe? If I were to fall, how could I get out of it safer than, just falling like flat on your head? You gotta kind of look at things like that too, like your bailouts, even though if you do fall, there's a certain way that you can fall to help yourself or prevent yourself from getting more injured. And so you got to kind of play those factors in your head, or, you can kind of go like halfsies on it, just kind of like do it a little bit enough to where you have an idea if you can make it or not, if you were to go full bore or not, just kind of things like that.
Sure. I'm reminded of like when my mom started doing Zumba, she got the
Mm-hmm.
Zumba shoes, which are expensive, but they obviously help. So with parkour, um, is there a level of like good enough shoes before? I mean, I'm assuming there's an ideal shoe for parkour too. So maybe talk about those kind of graduations, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Excuse me. One of the when I see, I'm trying to think of what I first started out. I'm pretty sure I just started out with just my normal Nike everyday shoes. You know, Nike's obviously a really good brand itself, but the more there's specific parkour shoes out there, and there's non-parkour shoes that also still work. Um, it I really want to say it all depends on like your personal preference on it, because and it all depends on like if you have heel problems, like if your heels bruise easy or the balls of your feet bruise really easy, you're gonna want shoes that have better cushions, you know, better soles, stuff like that. So just keep it in those factors. But if you want like the ideal parkour shoe is having it flat all the way, just a flat shoe. Um, and you know, have really good grip on the bottom, just some nice rubber grip. And then another thing that you'll find out as you parkour and free run is like the top of your shoe, like let me take my shoe off here. Like right over here, you know, that will start ripping too. Um, so it also kind of depends on what style of parkour you are, because there are different styles, and that does have a factor on your apparel, your shoes, and stuff like that. But the ideal, you know, just, you know, out running around on cement stuff, you're gonna want a good grippy shoe, you know, and nice cushion, you know, if that makes any sense.
So maybe not like the minimalist shoes for straight running.
Yeah. Um,
You want something with some cushion, shock absorber, or whatever you're saying.
yep.
So you want to talk about like some of the other good, I'll just use the words baseline attributes for getting into parkour.
Like skill wise, or
Well, like, I mean, do you need to be able to run? Do you need to be able to do a pull up? Do you need to be able
okay.
to like touch your toes? Like,
Um, having all those things, yes, is good. But if you can't, you don't necessarily you really don't need to be the most flexible. You don't have to be super strong. What I like about parkour and free running is you learn what your own body can do physically, and it's crazy because you could take a really strong guy and you know, who can do like a bunch of pull-ups and stuff like that, and you could have a guy that doesn't know how to do a pull-up at all, but in order to get up on the bar, you know, you got to pull yourself up. There's different ways of getting up onto a bar than just pulling yourself up. So you don't have to do a pull up or be strong enough. I'm quoting that because I've heard a lot of people say, you know, oh, I'm not strong enough to do that. There's different ways that you can use your body to almost manipulate your way up on the bar. There's a move called the bar kip up, and I cannot do this move. I've been trying it for years now, and I just can't do it. I don't know, maybe I just don't have the right coach or what, but a lot of people can, and people that that can't even do a pull up can do this move, and it's just using your weight and force. You just basically swing yourself forward, and then you kick your feet straight up, and then you basically pull up your pants, and you're on top of the bar. I can't do that, but I can do a pull up. So I use different ways to get up on the bar rather than someone else.
yeah, it sounds like, and I'm obviously just picturing this in my head, but it sounds like the gymnastics style move to the kip up, and then you're making me think about like the muscle up where you are strong enough, you just raw.
Exactly. Yeah, it's literally just combining both of them. That's what I like is there's so many different ways of doing something. You mean even in other ways, you could literally just kick your feet like all the way into a circle onto the bar, and then, have the bar rest on your hips and push yourself up, or just like lean up a little bit. Like, so there's different ways to do things, and you don't necessarily have to have a strong base set. You don't have to be super flexible, even though flexibility really helps with any sport, really. Durability and stuff like that. So it doesn't matter what level you are at, there is a step or a stage of parkour that you can do and can accomplish. And it's truly amazing feeling deep down to yourself, knowing that, wow, I did this, I could do this. You know what I mean? Like, there's no better feeling.
What does a parkour workout like look like, and like what is a training session like in a week, maybe kind of a
Okay.
day?
Yeah. So like a parkour workout, me personally consider like a parkour workout and a training session two different things, just because of the word workout. So when I do parkour workouts, I should say when I did, I don't do them anymore because, a lot of stuff has happened. But when I did do them, the workouts, I went in YouTube and I typed in, good workouts for parkour, to increase your leg strength, for jumping, your vertical, different things to. I mostly focused on different groups of your muscles to work for parkour, basically. So then that's what I would do on those workout days. So I know that I know where Memorial Park was. So back at that park, there's that staircase set, and one of the workouts that I would do was, it was a staircase, and then it was, the flat the ground, and then there was a ledge because it was like a churn staircase. And so from the ledge to the staircase was, I don't know exactly how far away it is, but it was pretty big. So what I would do was, to warm up and work out, is I would hop from the one stair, the very last stair, I would hop to the ground and then up to the ledge, and then I'd turn around and hop back to it. And then I'd take a step up and keep working myself up that way and see how high I could get on the stairs, which I think my highest that I could get to back and forth was 5. And that's like the workout part for me, was working out my legs, working out my core, working out the muscle memory of jumping further and higher. So all that, and then, I'll do different types of parkour moves, if you want to call them, but I would do them repetitively for a workout like sensation, to work your body out, work the muscle memory out, so that, and then so that would be like my workouts. And then my sessions would be, I'd work on my flow, my movement, connecting different tricks with each other. So if I were to do a side flip off of a ledge, when I land, what can I do next? Is there another object around me? Is it just flat grass, a hill, tree, whatever it is? What can I do next? And make it look good and flow together. A nice or a parkour analogy is, you want to move like water, because water, is wavy, it's all over, but yet it's super strong when it's all together. So that's kind of like the mindset going into a parkour session. That, is my personal opinion on that, I guess, is just, making things flow together better. And then for videos and camera and stuff like that, trying to get film. And so that would be the sessions and workout kind of differently on my point of view.
Yeah, I really like what you said about like you treat the workout stuff and the skill work as two separate things. I think that's a really good concept for people to know.
Yeah.
So, do you want to talk about more the importance of kind of filming yourself and kind of looking at how pretty is maybe not the best word, but how smooth is the more manly term for how,
Yeah. Yeah. So, oh, there we go. My screen went black. So for me personally, would be the to make like a really good line, or make me feel like, okay, I was satisfied with that line, would be no mess ups, no like stutter steps. Let's say I'm just doing a normal vault over a wall or whatever. Um, if I land, like if I don't land the right foot, it would be my right foot first and then my left foot. If I didn't land that way, then I wouldn't think that's like good enough, and it wouldn't flow as good as you know. So I would always like trying to do those little things each time for each trick on each session. Is try to be the best. So um, there's a one trick that I'd go for a side flip, and then when I'd land on the edge of the corner or edge of the ledge, I would want to do a backflip off of it. And to me, I would have, as soon as I land left foot, right foot, and then as soon as I'd land that, I'd land, and then I'd want to like squat and backflip right away. Not necessarily right away, but about a second or so. So it doesn't look too rushed, but yet again, it's that balance point of, this was smooth. It wasn't choppy. So choppy would be, I'd do a side flip and then I'd kind of land, stutter my feet a little bit, and then do a backflip. That's not smooth. That's, choppy, really choppy, rather than doing a side flip, landing left, right, and then backflipping right away. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So that's kind of the perfection thing that I would always shoot for. And I didn't always get it, but sometimes your body's just too dead and it's the best you can do.
Yeah, and that's probably an important concept too, is just kind of learning yourself and your energy system, so you know when to not go for something.
Yep, it's a big thing too, because I've done both. I've quit when I should have quit, and I have kept going when I should have quit. And it's costly, and I didn't get hurt luckily, but it's been a couple times. But you have to know when to stop. When you're too tired, even though like I'm one of those persons that just has to get it. Like I have that self drilling. Like if I'm not gonna get it right, I'm not gonna stop, right? But if you get too tired, you can seriously hurt yourself. So you have to know when to stop. And it's not taking anything away from your pride. It's just being able to go tomorrow, the next day, and do it again. You know what I mean? Get that rest and then go back at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So when, and you said you're not doing it right now, but in if someone's looking to get into parkour, what would how many days a week would they be doing it?
I would recommend every day. And I mean, and I'm not meaning like go out, 110%, like just full force, trying new tricks all the time. I mean, like going out every day, as in, take,
Some kind of
start.
progress, some kind of work, like not completely exhausting yourself.
Yep. Just doing like a little by little, you know what I mean? Just
Mhm.
so you can, yeah, just so if you are learning a new trick, it might take you a week to learn a trick. I mean, it's taken me a couple weeks to learn, some tricks, and it's just like you said, that progression. Like you just go out one day, you do it light, you do it, the right way, learn it the correct way, and then, just do it little by little. And then towards the end of the week, if you can do it, with your eyes closed, well, think about, how can I throw this into a different combo? You know what I mean? And then just lightly work it in that way.
Yeah, and you're making me think of Arrow Westenberg. He does Vapa Fitness, and
Okay.
one aspect he talks about with calisthenics is that people chase skills and they kind of end up compromising their form. And the
Mm-hmm.
other part of that is like not everybody's um, stature, because you and I are both tall and skinny.
Yep.
Not everybody's body is mechanically set up to. Some tricks are going to be easier for certain body types and that kind of stuff. You want to touch on that?
Correct. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, that is true on every level, because there are people that are overweight, but they can still do. I've seen people still do tricks like backflips, B twists, front flip, side flip. I've seen people do it, and why that's so inspiring, and why it's another cool aspect is they've learned how to use their body and momentum to overcome something incredible. You know what I mean? And not every single person is the same. Like we're all different. So like I touch base like on gymnastics. Let's just go for a backflip. Just, you know, backflips are simple, right? Like a backflip technique, you can, you know, you can have that perfect way to do it, but for each individual person, they're going to have to tweak it a little bit to be able to do it for their own ability. You know what I mean? If that made sense. I don't know
Yeah,
if that made
yeah,
sense or not. But for example, just, you know, me and you, I probably don't have to jump as high because I maybe know how to rotate or, you know, rotate faster. So I don't have to jump as high and I can rotate faster. Maybe you might have to jump higher. You know what I mean? And because maybe you can't rotate fast, so you have to compromise and jump higher. Therefore, our statue on the flip are going to look completely different, and that's perfectly fine because as long as you can do it and you are doing it to, you know, your perfection, that's all that matters, you know, because everybody's different. We're not going to look the same. We're going to be different. And that's why another reason why I like parkour and free running so much is because you are your own self. You got your own style. You know, the way you look, the way you flow is just your own, you know, you're unique. And that's what I like so much about it. And it doesn't matter. There's a correct way to do things, but yet
there's a
again,
correct
there's
way
not.
that still is your style of doing it. So
Exactly. And
yeah.
and your ability too. Like maybe you can't do it the same exact way that I can do it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's another thing I think people should like be talked to more about it, because that could be something that is holding someone back, you know, be like, oh, well, I can't do it as good as they can. Well, that doesn't matter. You can do it. That's all that matters. Or you want to learn, or you can. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think another good point is for people to keep in mind, like you're saying, it takes you a week or 2 weeks or however long to learn a trick, and you know I'm assuming a lot of people getting into parkour watch all these YouTube videos and see the guys doing, you know, 4 flips in a row and
Yep.
whatever, and it's like, you know, work with what you got. You know, you are where you are. You know, they might have better locations and whatever, but you know, you're learning.
Exactly. It you don't have to be that big guy. I mean, if that's what you want, if you want that fame, if you want like, oh, like all the big uh parkourists right now, I mean, not saying like they're I'm not like saying anything bad about them, I'm just saying like those people are, they're there because of, yeah, their own style. They're just, if you want that fame and stuff, then go to California and Hollywood where they are, and
Yeah.
do that. But if you want to do parkour, like just because you want to do it, like in your heart and soul, you want to be better, just be active. Well, this was off YouTube, but it was a lady that was teaching parkour to old people, to elderly people. And it was just, and obviously they're not doing flips or anything, but they're doing like the parkour aspect of it by staying healthy, staying fit, staying agility. And, you know, they're literally just doing their own thing. And it's so cool and unique that it doesn't matter what age group you are, you can still do it in a way.
Yeah,
And
well, and it stood out to me like I've done some personal training with my mom every once in a while, and just like a little footstool thing, and getting her to jump on that, and she was so proud of herself to
yeah,
overcome because like she just has not used that skill set at all. So it's just, you know, like you're saying, like at all levels, you still feel so awesome that you pulled this off.
yep. Yeah, no, exactly. Like, okay, let's just say Pasha. He's a very, very well known professional parkour. He has his own style that is absolutely just crazy. I love it. And when, let's say he does, you know, something crazy, he does his own trick. He's excited. He does a huge gainer off of a big uh thing at the beach, you know, and lands in the sand. He's so pumped about it, right? But then you got your mom that jumped up on the stool. That's the same excitement. It doesn't matter
Yeah,
how cool or how big the trick is. All that matters is afterwards, how did you feel about it?
For sure.
That's the way that I look at it. And that's another reason why I fell in love with it. And I carry that on through everything I do in my personal life, like everyday life. I just, that's another thing that parkour has done for me is trying to better myself.
For sure. Yeah. And I'm assuming the same thing applies here. Like when I'm doing martial arts, um, I tell myself, like, the best guys have lost way more fights than you ever will. And so
Yep.
with parkour, I'm assuming it's the same thing. Those guys you're watching on YouTube have fallen and messed up tricks way more than you ever will.
Exactly. And I mean, um, I heard a really good quote the other day, and it was about skateboarding, but it applies the same exact thing. It was a professional skateboarder said, "We're not professionals because we land all of our tricks. We're professionals because we have failed more times than succeeded." But the thing is they keep getting back up and keep retrying and keep going for it and keep progressing, and that's why they're at where they're at. That goes for any sport, anything in life, really. And that's why I like it so much, and that's what I've been thriving for.
For sure. So, when you're training parkour, I know you were
Mm-hmm.
training with Taylor. Do you want to talk about like training with friends versus training solo, or maybe
Yeah,
finding a gym or a group?
absolutely. Definitely training with people, a group, or just an individual. It doesn't matter. Or even if as low as not low, but like even just having someone else there that it doesn't train with you, but just like a spectator, having anyone else train with you or be with you makes it a lot better. Um, it it definitely improves you a lot better, like in your skill wise. It opens up your parkour vision a lot better, more because everyone has different visions on different things. And so, like, same thing. I'll bring back the ledge just because it's an easy example. If I'm by myself and I see that ledge, I'm limiting myself to possibilities of combos that I can do because I look at that ledge and I see A, B, but then when I parkour or train with Taylor and Justice and James and stuff, and you guys maybe see C, D, E. You know what I mean? So everyone sees something differently, and other people can see your abilities that you maybe kind of shade away from. That maybe you can do it, but you won't challenge yourself to that extent. But people I train with are really good at be like, no, you can do this.
Yeah.
Go try it. Talked about what I talked about earlier. Maybe just give it a halfie, just kind of see if you can do it, feel it out. And if you feel comfortable, go for it. And then, so that's why I love training with other people. Is because and even if you have a group, like we got a group in Sioux Falls that we train with, haven't been able to for a while now, but I mean, there's 5, 6 of us that go out, and everyone's got their own styles, doing different tricks. Maybe that looks fun, so I want to try it. You know what I mean? I've never tried that before, but I see someone else doing it. Why not I give it a go? You know what I mean? So you kind of feed off each other rather than by yourself, where, like I said, you're limiting yourself by just doing whatever you think you can do. And I could be, I mean, each person is different. So if you are an individual that is better by yourself and you can, you know, think of crazy stuff by yourself, by all means, but it's always better to train with someone, and safety aspect too. If you were to get hurt, if you are a crazy person and try something, insane, and then what if you're hurt? You know what I mean?
That's a really good point, too. I hadn't even thought of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that's one thing. And if you are training by yourself, always keep in mind the safety aspect. Just like, all right, if I'm gonna fall, what are the ways that I'm gonna fall? Is it worth it? Can I wait till someone's with me? You know what I mean? Just stuff like that. So you're not in that case where you fall and hit your head and you're screwed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, So I was gonna ask about overcoming fear and shyness,
Oh yeah.
because some people might be like, if they're starting off, you're like, oh, I suck. I don't want to be with these guys yet till I get good enough.
Yes, I definitely was there at a point. Even actually with all my sports that I've done, I've always been that person where like I'm never good enough, you know. And now that I've overcome a lot of big obstacles in my life, I look at it as being with people that are better than you. You can learn from them, you know, learn faster than be like, instead of like shining away from them, like you come to a park, right? And you see these guys throwing, you know, double twists and just going ham on combos, and you can only do one combo, and you're like, well, I'm not going to be able to fit in with these guys. Well, no, I've done this. You go up to them and just talk to them. Let them know that you can only do one thing. Don't be ashamed of anything. And if someone like hurts you for that, makes fun of you for that, then that's when you leave, because they are not worth it. Right. But if you go up to them and you talk to them, and a lot of people are like, the parkour community is super cool. If you don't know something, they'll teach you it, or they'll tell you how they overcame it. You know, it's a fun aspect that you can learn from people that are better than you or at the same skill as you. So always like and to overcome fear, like let's say excuse me, I had a hiccup. But let's say you're by yourself and you want to overcome your fear, right? What I do in situations like that is I try and find kind of like going back to like where I go like halfsies, you know, like where I give half energy just to see. I kind of do that, but if it's something really big that I'm like really scared of doing, I will just I'll give some examples here. For a backflip, that's a really big fear for people, is a backflip. And once you do it, then you understand that it's not that scary. But so some progression things for a backflip would be rolling on your back all the way over back to your feet, right? And what that does is get that mindset of going backwards over your body, not being able to see right away, you know, what you're doing. And then as you know, get more comfortable with that, kind of, you know, want to go more and more, maybe you could squat down into a squat position and then just kind of put your arms behind you, like off on their side, and then jump over and have your feet come over your body, onto your hand, back onto your feet. You know what I mean? Just little progression, things like that to overcome it. And what it does is in your mind is it associates it with the backflip. So it's like saying, all right, my feet are leaving off the ground. I'm going over my body backwards. And you start to just to do it more and more. And obviously you want to have the safety aspects of like softer landing, pads, grass, water, not too high off water, because if you slap it, that hurts. But you know, it's all those little things definitely help with overcoming fear. And I've done a lot of those things, and I'm not ashamed of any of them, because now I can do what I can do. And, you know, it's just another great thing to overcome. You're overcoming fear, and that'll help you out in any point in life. It really is, don't just dive into something. You want to take progression steps to overcome that, so you can kind of feel that security that, okay, this will work out in the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I'm feeling sheepish because I know we've worked on getting me to do a backflip and a kick up or a kip up, and I'm still not there.
Yeah. And you know, that's okay. Like I said, I can't even do a bar kip up. Like and that it frustrates me, but I can't do it.
No.
But it's just, you just got to keep going at it.
Yeah. And a few of the fitness guys I follow, like Tom Merrick and Arrow Westenberg, are both like 6'3", 6'4", so they're like my size, and they're around my build too. Like they're on the kind of mesomorph, like they're like you're skinny and I'm kind of in that middle, like muscular.
Yep.
So
Yep.
like I've got no excuses because they can do this stuff. It's like, I mean, it's
Yep.
good, but it's also like, it's, you know, getting that fire under me. So,
Yep. Yep. Yeah, and that fire's good too. Like if
yep,
you yeah, you just like, ah, dude, they can do it, I can do it now. You know what I mean?
yep.
Everyone's like so just like chill and really nice to try and help you overcome your fear, overcome, you know, obstacles and stuff like that. Try and teach you the proper way, you know, so you don't hurt yourself. And they push you to do better. And it, I haven't come across a parkour group that has like that ego over them. You know what I mean? Like no one really like is like, oh no, dude, like you can't do that. Get out of here. Like there really isn't that.
I guess, do you have any thoughts or advice about balancing? I mean, maybe when you were in Granite Falls with working at like the lumber yard or whatever, and balancing your hobby plus life and work and girlfriend and all that.
Yeah, it all that obviously has a huge impact on you. Because you know when I worked at the lumber yard, it was 8 to 5 every day. So and during fall through early spring, you know uh you get cut hours like sun wise. You know the sun goes down a lot sooner, so it's a lot darker. It gets colder faster. All those kind of had a big part, and it made it really hard. Even though, and I also didn't have anyone else around all the time to train with me, so I was by myself. So that was really hard to do. Was train by myself and find that motivation after work, you know, to do it. So I'd do it more on weekends. And then even that was hard, you know, hanging out with the girlfriend and stuff like that. So um, it really is hard, but when it got nicer out, then I was doing it more. Because another thing that helped was I'm in baseball still, so for the summer. So that's another thing that I look at is, you know, my parkouring helps with uh, it's helped me a lot out in baseball as well too. So I mean it's helped in different sports with me as well, which is really cool. But it it's definitely hard to try and balance it all out. And then I was also trying to do YouTube too. That's what I've been wanting to do. I still am going to do that. You know, I plan on having that as another, you know, job where, because that's what I love to do is create that content. So,
Yep,
um,
what we're doing right
so
now.
yep, exactly. So that was a thing that I fallen back more on was trying to focus more on the video artwork of it. You know, I would, you know, and then another thing that I would do during like the winters was I would go to St. Cloud to the gymnastics gym there. They would always have those on Sundays, so I would either go with Justice or James, um, sometimes by myself, but go there for 2 hours, drive 2 hours, train for 2 hours, and drive home another 2 hours, and
Yeah,
that would be my Sunday.
yeah,
But I was passionate about it, you know, and it's you got to do what you got to do, what you want to do if you want to keep doing what you love. I don't know if that makes sense.
no, yeah. That was actually my last kind of question was, have you talked about that making that 2 hour drive? Because I mean, I was fortunate when I went up there with you because I
Yeah,
had my girlfriend there, so I didn't have to
yeah,
do 4 hours of driving in one day. But you know, but I even like it was interesting because you know you talked about having that passion and you just did it. Like, and
yeah,
my first MMA instructor, Jesse, he had the same kind of thing where he was driving, I want to say an hour and a half each way for MMA and jujitsu.
yep,
He started off because he was like in Wisconsin coming to Minnesota. And it's just like, you know, yes, it kind of sucks, but one, it's like it's not forever. And two, you know,
yep,
what else are you doing with your time? And, you know, it's if you really like it, it can be worth it. And, like he eventually moved to the cities and then trained there for a long time. Now he's back in Wisconsin. He's got his own gym. It's, I mean, you're doing your thing. I'm post pandemic probably going to look into joining an MMA gym here.
Yep.
So, and like I said, I'll have the punching bag sooner or later. My brother's. So, like, just, and then the other thing to think about for our audience, I guess, is like anything you're doing is a win. Like if you even once a week you're practicing jumping on a ledge or over a park bench or whatever, like
Yep.
just maybe you can't do it every day because you got a family and you get an hour a week to yourself. But if you're doing parkour, that's your level and that's your progression, and who knows what's going to happen in the future, but just do what you can.
Exactly. And that just what you just said, whatever level you're on, just keep progressing so you can get to that next level. It doesn't matter how long it takes. That's the thing is parkour doesn't, it's all about you. So if, you just try and make yourself better at it and feel good about it and just keep progressing each time. And like you said, it doesn't matter if you can do it once a week, an hour, every day, as long as you can do it when you can, and you have that passion about it and you want to make yourself better. That's all it takes. That's all it is, a mindset.
Yeah. So I think that's a good time to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Thanks for being on the show. I don't know if there's anything you want to plug.
Yeah. So my Instagram is Life of Parkour, all one word, Life of Parkour. And then YouTube is Jacob Neu.
So I'm personally not doing Instagram, but I know on your YouTube thing, you've got some cool parkour kind of montages like everybody likes to watch. And
Yep. Yeah, the recent one. Yep.
So anyway, yeah. So thanks again for coming, and next time I have you on, I'll give you that backflip update.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I appreciate you having me. It was really fun to talk about it, and hopefully we can, change lives and change people's perspectives on things.
Yeah. All right. So thanks. Bye.